Where you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing. Where do you come from? Where are you going? What are you feeling tonight? And what are you showing? Where do you come from? 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 Where are you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing.
Hello, everybody. What's going on? Oh, the chat window doesn't want to work, but we see all you wonderful people in chat coming in early. Good morning, good afternoon. This is the Super PlayStation Bros. My name is Rudigs, and we got Dorgon upside down, right side up. What's going on? How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well, mate. It's Wednesday, it's the middle of March, there's PlayStation news to be going through. I'm talking to you, one of my very good friends. Life's good, bro. Life's good.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Yes. It's been a good week. There's been a lot of great stuff to play. We've got some big releases on point now. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Helldivers, plus many more. What have you been up to in gaming, Dorgon? What's been going on?
I've lots of mobile gaming, just because we've been in and out of meetings and such over the last week, so I haven't been at home much to game. But when I have been home, it's all been VR in this last week. I've been really back into Crossfire Sierra Squad. I've been really enjoying the grind with that one, playing it on slightly higher levels, slightly harder difficulties, which, you know how like first-person shooters are completely chaotic at the best of times? When you are actually there, it's your body on the line and you're the one getting shot at and having to duck out the way and stuff. It makes it so much more frenetic. It makes these encounters so much more immersive and fraught, because you can feel it through the PSVR 2. You've got the vibration in the headset, you've got the vibration in the sense controllers. You get shot, you know about it, sort of thing. So yeah, that's been a really frenetic mode. And I'm still on that grind that I mentioned at the start of the year to try and get the Beat Saber Platinum. I am getting closer. I'm getting at least a level per week. I'm just grinding them out, getting better and better, learning where the notes are coming in and slicing them as they appear. So I'm getting closer to that Platinum trophy, and fingers crossed, before the middle of the year, I'm hoping at the rate that I'm going. We'll have to see, but right now it's going quite well.
No, Neil J. We are having a little bit of Discord issues. So I believe we're having a mismatch between Dorgon's audio and his video there. So it's not just you, but I ask that you please bear with us. We just looked it up. It seems like Discord's going through a little bit of issues. And of course, you know, when you rely on something to stream and one day it doesn't come up well, it's a bit of a nuisance. But we're working through it. We're working through it. But good morning,
Don't
everybody.
look at my mouth when I'm talking. Just hear me instead.
Apparently, the chat doesn't want to work for us either on screen. So I'm going to say what up to Ray, the Gaming Cyborg, Nad614. We got SPG in the house, Vet Cloud Gaming, D Wilson, Sanchez Gaming, and Neil J, and all the rest of you. Thank you for coming out, hanging out with us as we go over some PlayStation news. All right. Well, I have been in, like I said, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It has been absolutely amazing. The production value, like I said, extremely high. The adorableness of the characters is really intriguing once you want to play more. The story's really encapsulating. You want to figure out what's happening to all these people. There is mystery there, you know, pulling you towards every next scene and really guiding you through the game. So I'd 100% recommend it. And it keeps wanting me to play the old one just to see, you know, the changes. So it's really cool when a game does that, as well as Helldivers 2. I mean, so much fun jumping in with friends. Anytime you go online, I'm seeing a bunch of people on, so you can just jump right into their world in their instance and drop an orbital on them. So it's been fun. It's been fun. A lot of cool games out right now, and a lot of cool stuff to look forward to.
Indeed, yes. Sanchez has
But
got a question for you in chat.
let's go, Sanchez.
He says, is Rebirth in 30 frames per second? Now, you're the one with the experience, so I defer to you here, good sir.
Right, so they're not able to hold a proper performance mode and lock 60 FPS. From my experience, I've actually notched down to graphics mode. I'm waiting for the patch to come through. They have announced the patch. We talked about it last week. Yeah, it's unfortunate to see. Perhaps if I had an HDMI 2.1 with an in-zone, it may help boost up the performance a little bit. But right now, there are complaints out there that the game is not able to hold a 60, which is a little bit, you know, disappointing from a brand new release. It seems that you got to wait a couple months for a lot of these patches to come out for these brand new games. It kind of spoils your first playthrough experience a little bit, I will admit.
Yeah, I can see that one. But as you say, a patch is in the works. There is a performance mode in the game, Sanchez, so you can get higher frame rates, but as we spoke about last week, when you do that at the moment, the visual fidelity is so low, it feels like you're playing a previous gen or earlier title. It's a very difficult game, what seems like a very difficult game to get running well on either mode at the moment, would you say, Rudigs?
Yeah, I mean, the overexposure is bugging me a lot, and they have addressed that issue as well. Like, it just seems like the brightness is off the chart in either mode, and that seems to be my biggest complaint. Yeah, I really want them to come through and fix it. It doesn't make it unplayable, though. They are saying that the shadows can create scary-looking people, but hey, you know, it's still, the gameplay's there. That's not interrupted. The combat is smooth. They're not interrupting that. The story is still there. So you just got to get past, you know, some overexposure and some frame dips. But that's a brand new game in 2024, right?
Indeed. We've got more questions coming in. Chat are busy this morning. One from Nads saying, is there an app to play PlayStation Plus on your phone for cloud gaming?
I do not believe so. Doragon,
you would be correct in your belief.
Yeah, it is just a PC app from my recollection while downloading it to my PC. Would you say that, Doragon?
There are 3 ways to play PlayStation Cloud Gaming. 2 of them are PlayStation Console, so PlayStation 4, either the base model or the Pro, or a PlayStation 5. You can also access it on any Windows device. So it doesn't need to be a Windows desktop PC. It can be a Windows laptop. It can be something like the Asus ROG Ally. It could be something like a Surface tablet. As long as it runs Windows as its operating system, you can get the PlayStation Plus cloud catalog on there. You do just have to be aware that different platforms give you different options on games and different options on resolutions and frame rates as well. PC is probably the smallest at the moment, but it does still give you some of the best games that the last 2 generations have seen, with multiple Game of the Year winners as part of the subscription service. So you can pick up like a week or a month trial for free or dirt cheap. I can't quite remember which one we're on at the moment with PlayStation. I think it might be like a 7-day free trial. If you sign up to PlayStation Plus Premium, you can download the PC app if you don't own a PlayStation console and have a play of your PlayStation games there.
Well, there you go. There is a lot of great information there. Accessible on Windows devices, PS4 and PS5. But absolutely, the remake is such a great game. I know you've played through the first one, so there's a lot of nostalgia there. I'm just wondering if you got to the house yet. The house is the iconic fight in that game. Oh my gosh, it had me stumped for a little bit. We got any more question? Is there a performance mode in FF7 Rebirth? Yes, there is a
You've been through
quality
that one.
and a performance. Yes.
You answered that,
And
yeah.
did Spider-Man 2 co-op get canceled? Unfortunately, it did. We'll be talking more about that in depth later on. And yeah, let's get into it. So Dorgon, you are the expert here. You've had the first-hand experience with the new PlayStation 5 system update. Yeah, it's rolling out today for PlayStation 5 users. It's going to allow you to do a lot of things which you've had an experience with. So I'm going to let you sort of let people know what's been going on with this update and what people can expect.
Yeah, they're all little things, this particular update, but they have a big impact upon your quality of life on the PlayStation ecosystem. So, some point late last year, we got Discord integration on PlayStation 5. I think it's also PlayStation 4, can't quite remember, but definitely PlayStation 5. But what would happen with that when you're talking to someone in a Discord chat on PlayStation, somebody joins the group, you don't get any audio cue that someone's joined. You don't know who has joined, and suddenly somebody else starts talking, which can be quite a frightening thing. Or if you're talking about certain subjects with folks and you don't want other people to hear, it could be a bit of an issue not knowing when people are joining and leaving calls. So, what PlayStation have done with this particular update that I've been testing for the past 3 weeks at this point, maybe 4 weeks even, is they have added alerts to let you know when people are joining and leaving Discord calls that you have joined from your PlayStation. So you can see their name pop up. It pops up in the top right-hand corner, just like a party chat or a trophy does at the moment. Gives you the name of who's just joined, and it gives you their platform name as well. So whoever you know from Discord who jumps into a call, you can see their Discord name and know exactly who it is immediately. It also gives you that Discord sound when they join and when they leave. And you can also hear soundboards as well. You can't play them from the PlayStation, and I don't think you'd want to whilst you're in the middle of a battle against some bugs or automatons or something, but it's definitely a nice quality of life update just to make the Discord calls a bit more seamless. They're still not included in broadcasts if you're playing if you're streaming directly from a PlayStation, so you're not going to have other people's voices in your streams if you're through Discord chat, but it is a nice quality of life thing, and it just makes things that little bit easier. They've also updated quite a bit of stuff with the controller, with the draw on screen for your share play, when you're sharing your screen with an individual person. So they've updated that so that somebody can guide someone. I think you were showing a picture not too long ago where they've got a circle on something up the top left-hand side of the screen and just showing them where to go. So that's quite a nice little feature that I've been able to try once because not many people were on beta previously, but we can definitely have a try once this update rolls out. But a big one for me is I play on TV speakers. So a lot of games use the speaker implementation of the DualSense controller, and the DualSense controller speaker is generally terrible. It's meant to be one of those things where you don't need a headset for the system, but if you're joining voice calls and such, you have to have a headset just to be able to hear what people are saying. Their voices coming through the controller, very, very quiet, very, very muffled, very difficult to discern actual words. We've now got an EQ for that speaker. We've now got a couple of updates for that as well, so it makes the speaker a little bit louder, a little bit crisper, a little bit clearer. Just a nice, again, quality of life thing to improve the overall PlayStation experience. Things that were lacking previously, they've been brought to the table and they implemented really well. I've not encountered any problems. There was a stability issue with the firmware itself, so I had to reinstall it, but that's part and parcel of a beta program. And if I have those issues, it means that when you guys get it coming out to the public, you shouldn't have those issues. So it's all looking really good. I'm looking forward to a lot of folks getting their hands on this and just noticing the little quality of life updates.
Awesome. So update 9.0, you should expect it being rolled out this week, if it hasn't hit your PlayStation already. Thanks to Oregon for getting access to the beta, because I don't have access. and letting the people know. So this next game, I know you're a huge fan of. Again, this is more of a Doragon story, but Monster Hunter Stories 2 announced for PlayStation 4. Fans express confusion. So what's happening here is there's an update, yet this game has not been given the PS5 treatment. It's still running on the backwards compatibility for PS4 on PS5. So people are a little bit concerned about this update. However, it's still being pushed through, and it still has a massive audience still playing it. Do you have any
Yeah,
thoughts on this one?
I have a couple of thoughts, and it's trying to see it from all angles. Like this game already exists on PC, so it launched on Switch and PC near simultaneously, similar to what Rise did. But it's not the most demanding of games. And if you've got an option to put a game out as a company, as a developer, where you're going to get a bigger audience with 114 million PlayStation 4s and 50 million PlayStation 5s still in weekly operation in the world, that's a much bigger pool than just the 50 million PlayStation 5 owners. So it makes a lot of sense from a development standpoint to put it on a PlayStation 4 system and allow it to be played on PlayStation 5 with backwards compatibility. You're upping your possible buyer space to 170-ish million. That's a lot more people than 50 million. So it makes perfect sense from their perspective. It's not the most demanding game in the world. It runs on a Nintendo Switch, so it's going to run on a PS4 without breaking a sweat. There's no need to make this ugly by trying to upscale it, and one of the ways you'd probably end up doing that is with the artificial intelligence upscaling, interpolation, anti-aliasing, and all that sort of stuff. It's not a bad thing in any way, shape, or form. It means more people are able to play the game on more generations of console, and it might mean that Capcom get a few more sales, which means they can then make more, which is what everybody wants at the end of the day. The Monster Hunter Stories games, they're not as intense as the mainline Monster Hunter games. They're quite a bit quicker, quite a bit easier. They're meant to be for a younger audience, I believe, especially from art style and story beats, especially characters where you've got like a talking cat leading you through the whole thing, because the Palicos don't normally talk. But I don't see any problem with it. I understand people's confusion when the PlayStation 5 is the current generation console and games are still being released as PlayStation 4 only titles. I do get the confusion, especially when people are saying, oh, PlayStation 5's in its latter half of life. How long's that latter half going to last? The PlayStation 4 is still going. Are we still going to be seeing PlayStation 5 games in 15 years, sort of thing? But yeah, no real big concern or anything here. It's just put it on a platform where it can get more sales and it isn't going to demand too much of the system.
Yeah. It makes sense. You know, if you don't have to do it, you don't have to do it. And if it's playable on PS5, it's playable on PS5. And you already have such a huge base on PS4. So that's the business plan they're sticking with, and that's the model. So there's the end of confusion. But here is something I am deeply confused, and if not hurt about. Insomniac's Spider-Man game, The Great Web. The trailer has leaked online, and people are more disappointed than ever that they would cancel this game. It's essentially like they put money in the fireplace, poured gas on it, and lit it on fire. It's upsetting to see. Obviously, it must have came out that it would cost them more to maintain and bring content to this than it would to release and make. I just don't understand, but unfortunately we're hearing more about 70 unique costumes and a leaked trailer, that a game that we will never see. So here's something awesome that you'll never see. I mean, it sucks. You could have been multiple Spider-Man. They had bosses. The open world looks smooth. You had web wings. Co-op with all your friends has shown to be so much fun, as we can see in Helldivers 2. There's so much that could have been done with this game, and it's sad to see that this was on the chopping block.
In some ways, yes.
Yeah.
In other ways, no. Like, there's a lot of good in this. Spider-Gwen, for one. You felt it yourself when you first played as Miles Morales in his standalone game. He became your Spider-Man because he represents your heritage. It's you represented on screen. We need more women. Like, we're still fighting to get female representation in gaming. Spider-Gwen is a universally beloved character. She's brilliant in the Into the Spider-Verse movies. Her own comic run is absolutely fantastic. When she first appeared in the original Spider-Verse comic run, she broke our universe's Peter Parker and said, yeah, well, I lost my Peter, you lost your Gwen. How's about we just protect one another in this fight, sort of thing. She immediately enamored herself to every fan worldwide and built new ones, people who would never have been into Spider-Man before because they didn't see themselves in it. And suddenly you've got a female version who is a different character, who's not just like a female version of Peter Parker. It would have done a lot of good for a lot of new fans. My concern is, as we've seen with a lot of live service games, look at Destiny at the moment. Destiny's probably the best in terms of a live service game, in the amount of content that they put out, in the amount of quality content that they put out, the fact that it doesn't fall over and break on a semi-regular basis, but it's still fun to play with friends and achieve stuff in. But it costs them so much to keep that game running. It costs them so much to just develop that game year on year and put that level of content out, and that is the only way to realistically keep a live service game popular, by constantly putting content out. And we saw that Marvel Spider-Man 2 cost Insomniac $200 to $300 million to make. This looks like Spider-Man 2 in terms of gameplay, in terms of character models, in terms of the city and what have you. So it's not exactly going to be a cheap game to make. And then they've got to keep content coming for that. At some point, you've got to think, we need to cut our losses because there's no way the fans have got enough money to keep pumping into this game. I think what they should probably do here is build a story, build a one-off experience like we've had in the previous Spider-Man titles, and make it into a primarily single-player experience that can have co-op. You can run the exact same campaign in co-op with up to 4 people, for example, so you can have 4 different Spider people running around at once. And I think that is a way to take the assets and the work that they've put into this and still get something out of it and please the fans. I just feel like as a live service, it was doomed to fail because of the time and money that needed to be invested into it and what fans would not be able to invest back.
Yeah. It's that fine balance of what seems cool right off of the bat and then what actually makes sense on paper when you break it down and get all the money and the numbers out, right? Subscriptions seem like they have a wider range of games and it seems like the value is undeniable, but when you get down to how much time you can actually spend on the games, then the real value sort of shows itself. So it's the same kind of, comparison here. Icebergs, 90% of them are underwater, right?
Yes.
Here we have another thing that I would have loved to be playing right now. Unfortunately, I'm not able to play. Stellar Blade's mistakenly released demo dropped, and then it went away because I guess people weren't supposed to be having this awesomeness. It was roughly out there for about 25 minutes before being pulled. And you probably won't be able to play it from this point on because they stopped it. You'd have to somehow disconnect your device from the internet as soon as it released. That's the only way, but we're telling you this all too late because it was a 25-minute window. But if you are looking at seeing it, people were able to capture it in 4K. So you can obviously check it out. All the amazing demo gameplay. A lot of people did experience it. They really drew comparisons towards Devil May Cry as well as Bayonetta. And I think that's what everyone kind of assumed from watching all the gameplay trailers was this is the title that we are going to be getting. It's kind of odd that the demo would release mistakenly like this. You'd think there'd be checks and balances in place to kind of hold this at bay. But yeah, I guess this one slipped through the radar. Maybe somebody wanted to slip this by accident. I always think, possibly this was on purpose to gain a little bit of extra buzz for the game, but who knows? We'll see. This looks so much like Helldivers. It's crazy while I'm watching it.
Very much so. There's a lot of hints and similarities you can see from other games in the gameplay that's out there. I don't think it's the last time we will see this demo. I think it just released a touch early. Somebody put an incorrect digit in. Like, we've all done it. We've all made typos at work for some thing. This one just had a slightly bigger impact where a demo got released maybe 3 weeks earlier than it should have done. I think we're going to get this maybe 1-2 weeks before launch of the game, so we could see it next week even. It's just a case of there were a few lucky people who were able to get their hands on it and were able to get the gameplay uploaded. And it gives people a taste of it a little bit more beforehand. And it does build some good buzz around it. This thing that was only available for like 25 minutes, as you say, and people are comparing it after going hands-on with Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, which are two exceptional hack and slash action adventure games. It's all seeming to bode quite well for Stellar Blade at the moment.
And if you're watching the screen right now, you can tell why this game will do well.
Is it the booty?
Yeah. Sanchez, is Sea of Thieves being more pre-ordered than The Last Ronin?
It's distinctly possible. I do believe it was one of the most pre-ordered games in the US last week. I don't know about worldwide, but US audiences were lapping up the opportunity to play Sea of Thieves. It's a great party game, it's a great multiplayer game, it's a great solo game. It's got 6 years worth of content coming to PlayStation 5 in a month's time. I can understand people wanting to jump on it. It was definitely the most pre-ordered game last week in the US, but total figures I haven't got a finger on the pulse for, so I can't say for certain.
Yeah, absolutely. It could have been the most pre-ordered in that singular week. That's a good point. But we'll let you know if we hear more about it. I didn't see any stories directly on that, so we'll keep you in the know, though, as soon as we figure out. But other than that, I'm pumped for Stellar Blade. It looks awesome. The demo's pretty cool, and this accident / maybe not accident of a demo release got to let people know what's it about. Oh, if you want to look for it, you can look for the full demo. Lots of people have it on the YouTubes. Now, let's get into the next one, where PS5 Pro tipped to get an amazing and hidden tech boost. Well, I think we all knew that the PS5 Pro is going to add a lot of amazing technology. We keep hearing leaks that it's going to be AI powered, which is going to up the frames per second. Hopefully, we'll get rid of these games not able to hit 60. And it'll just simply be able to be replaced. This I cannot say it right. No, I'm not gonna. Aliasing. There it is. A lot of these technologies are going to be filtered into this. That is the rumor, and we're just going to get a better performing device. However, do you think you will be picking up a PS5 Pro, or will you be just waiting for the next console?
I don't rightly know. You see, last generation, when they did the whole Pro console thing, it was a no-brainer. The PlayStation 4 had a slow hard drive, was really bad at cooling, and only rendered at 1080p, exactly the same as the PlayStation 3 before it. When the PlayStation 4 Pro hit mid-generation, it did 4K, it did 60 frames per second in loads of different games that couldn't do 60 previously. It had a much faster hard drive, it was much better at cooling, and it was an obvious upgrade. Now, I waited personally, I didn't buy the immediate one, I waited for a special edition that I really wanted, so I've got that one that celebrates them having sold 200 million PlayStation consoles in the lifespan. The transparent blue one, beautiful device, beautiful machine. It's still in operation. I still use it semi-regularly to play my PlayStation 4 games. It's on the TV in the room behind me. But it's not as clear-cut this time. There are going to be benefits to it. If the rumors that we've heard are to be believed, and if all of them are true, it's going to be an utter powerhouse that could possibly even be called the PlayStation 6, with how far beyond the 5 it's going. But the question becomes, for so many people, how much of that are you going to use, and is it worthwhile putting more money down on a device that you won't get the benefit of? Because there's so many people having a PlayStation 5 at the moment that don't play in 4K. You don't play in 4K, for example. You don't have a 4K screen that it's plugged into. I play in 4K because it's in my living room television, which is 4K, but that's the only 4K screen in the house. I don't have another one to play it on at all. There are many people who aren't playing at these 120 frames per second because they don't have a HDMI 2.1 display. There's a lot of people who aren't experiencing the VR capabilities, who aren't experiencing the remote capabilities. There's a lot of these devices that just aren't experienced by so many people, and so many people don't care. Even the hardcore, like the people like us who tune into shows like this, who make shows like this, we're not really going to be getting a huge amount more out of it. I don't have the £3,000 or £4,000 to spend on a TV that matches my one downstairs, but has HDMI 2.1 available to me. So I'm still going to be playing it on that thing, which means 4K 60 at best, and games are doing that on the PlayStation 5 already. What the Pro will do is offer that in many more titles, because what this killer feature is that this article is talking about is hardware upscaling. So AI upscaling is done regularly. You can get apps on your phone that can AI upscale a picture or a video to look higher quality. It does a lot of smoothing, makes it look very artificial. Hardware upscaling is different. Hardware upscaling is similar to what your NVIDIA GPUs do on PC, and they take a lower resolution image and up it to a higher one. So what that means for games on performance mode, for example, where you're struggling to see what's going on in, say, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the console will do hardware level upscaling to send to your TV. So it's still sending a 4K image to your TV, but the performance mode is still running at 60 frames per second. So you get the crispest and best visuals that are available from this software, and they can even code in bits in the software to say this is what you need to do to the hardware upscaling, and it'll look super crisp, super high quality on a 4K resolution screen, and it'll be running at 60 frames per second. It's kind of the dream of what we wanted from this generation. It's just a case of, is that going to need HDMI 2.1 to operate? Highly likely. So again, people are going to need different screens for it. And two, is that worth, because it's probably going to be £100 more, $100 more than the base PlayStation 5 console. Is it worth that much more money to you? It's a difficult sell this time around. It's not as clear cut as the PlayStation 4 Pro, but I could be tempted.
Of course you could be tempted. You sent me some God of War Collector's Edition thing, and you're like, oh.
I own that game 3 times. I don't need a press kit version of it.
But you could be tempted.
Not at the 300 quid mark that one PSP, PlayStation Portable game was going for. I could not be tempted at that price.
Well, thank you for the insight on that. I think that's a great perspective to have on it. Are we really getting the technological leap that we got from PS4 to PS4 Pro? I don't think so, because the PS5 is a powerful device. However, there are a lot of voices out there saying Unreal Engine 5 games are going to demand a higher performing hardware to be able to run. So we'll maybe come at an interface. You know, all of this could be, and call me crazy, in preparation for Grand Theft Auto 6. Call me crazy, but they could be building a console to hold this game, knowing the population that comes onto it, holding it at a solid 60 FPS, really giving it the performance that that they want out of this game. But who knows? We're just guessing here until we hear the stats for real. We'll let you know. But what we do know for real is that we're getting Helldivers update this week, as well as we've had a lot of patches and changes happening to the game. Oh no, I hate when it asks me to do my age because I always get this wrong, and then it's like, there we go.
Just scroll back as far as you can.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
If you are a Helldiver and you're excited for more chaos, unlocking more things, there are a lot of cool things coming out in this update. New cosmetics, which do look different. They're not just complete reskins. They have new capes. The new weapons are looking a lot of fun. You have a laser assault rifle, the shotgun mortar, which is a brand new energy type. I've never seen plasma weapons before. And then you have a little laser pistol, which is going to make for a great secondary weapon, even behind the ballistic shields. And then an EMP grenade, which will be very useful. And then there's like this shotgun arc gun, which they didn't show there. Very cool to see, all coming out tomorrow, so this Thursday. The game is doing exceptionally well. I believe they hit 750,000 on PlayStation 5. I believe I saw them list. So just crazy amounts of people are in this playing. They've updated with mechs a month after release. You're now able to call them in. I can get 2 mechs, and within every single instance, and they're about 5 minutes on the cooldown. So pretty cool. If you want to be using them, they're there. They're accessible. A lot of changes to weapons in the game. Your rail cannon gun, that's been reduced in damage, but your flamethrower has been upped in damage. There's a lot of weapons like the breaker shotgun, which is ammo was reduced. There is an AI spawning and aggression bug that's sort of in the game right now, which I think is creating crazy difficult instances, and everybody has been waiting for the patch for that to be addressed. I mean, I myself am staying off of the more difficult modes, waiting for this patch to come through. The Helldivers Twitter has addressed the fact that they are spawning at ridiculous rates right now. Maybe that's part of just what's happening in the Helldivers world. Hopefully they're able to fix it. There is new missions as well that are constantly being dropped in. If you drop in today versus 2 weeks ago, you'll see a myriad of different missions. So I love to see it. I love to see the variety continually being updated, and I love the support after a month going in. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Helldivers.
Bring on more, as you say. They're doing well with the content updates. They're doing well with the stability updates. I like all of the new stuff that they're adding. I like that they're changing the meta. It's not always a case of, the most effective time to kill and all this. It's about having fun. I actually really like the spawning bug. Like, it meant the Wibble Sniff, myself, and Crash Echo didn't complete a single mission the other day when we were playing. But it was so much fun and so much carnage. Like, there was one point I was running away, Wibble was on top of a mountain, and he just saw the horde coming behind me. It's just like, do I save you? It's like, no, just kill them all. Huge amount of fun. Even when things go wrong in this game, they're still going well, and I think that is a powerful position to be in. Keep it up, Arrowhead. Keep doing your best. We understand you're a small team. But also, don't burn yourselves out. Don't bring us everything so quickly. We don't need all of it all the time. Give yourselves a bit of a break now and then.
Says Dorgon, work yourself to the bone to create fun for me. That's my point of view.
Evil, man. Evil.
Oh, well, another game coming through the wire on the PlayStation is Rise of the Ronin. Were you able to see any of these early previews that have come out of the game? I was able to watch. Okay. Yeah, I was able to watch one or two of them. They are talking about open world design. They're talking about the levels and instances where co-op is active or more linear and they're outside of the open world. They're saying that the combat relates to Sekiro in terms of action. However, the speed is not quite there. It's a little bit slower than that. And then the timing piece is around the time of The Last Samurai, the Tom Cruise movie, sort of when that Japanese and American culture sort of first get introduced. So you'll see a lot of samurai swords and muskets and really cool sort of time period that is much adored, I think, by historians. Were some other comments you wanted to bring out from what you saw and what you read?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that stuck out to me. One was they can only talk about the first 2 to 3 hours of the game, so we're not going to hear about how it evolves, how it feels later. An early game is always one of those, it's setting up, it's preparing, that there's going to be things missing that you feel a bit later. But there were a lot of good things that were said. There were a couple of things that worried me. The story, for example, they're on about these people being born as twins. They're part of some cult type thing, and then suddenly they're Ronin, and it doesn't make sense with what Ronin actually are in Japanese culture and folklore. So there's a few concerns for me from a story perspective, but from a gameplay perspective, it seems to be what pretty much everybody wanted it to be. It's got that Souls-like difficulty, more along the lines of Neo than Bloodborne, which personally I like a bit more. It's not quite brutally difficult, it's challenging, which is the right level for it to be. It's got combat that walks that line between Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima, which is just beautiful swordplay combat, which, again, absolutely love and adore, but it's going to be quite different with the different types of weapons you can use, because you can have spears, you can have muskets, as you say, you can have pistols with a katana. So it's still looking very rosy, still looking very good for me, very interested. I've heard rumors, I don't know how much truth there is to it, that we should be getting a demo of this game, and that will, if it comes true, that will be the selling point for me. Once I've got my own hands on with it, once I've actually felt how the game plays, that will say whether it is a buy or not. But everything seems really positive. Every preview that I've read and every video that I've seen, it's only a couple of minor concerns that are coming to the fore.
Yeah, I would agree. Otherwise, it seems like a solid game and I think it's going to be well received for the samurai game type. But check it out. I look forward to that demo, like you said. So they said they were going to do a demo?
It's rumors that I've heard. I can't put any actual realistic claims to it. I've got no trustworthy sources or anything, and I can't corroborate it myself, but I have heard rumors that there'll be a Rise of the Ronin demo, and I am hopeful for it. They've seen how well demos are doing recently, how many more games they're selling off the back of demos, so I think it's wise to put one out there. We'll have to wait and see.
All right. Maker says one thing I heard was block is L1 and parry was triangle. So it reminds me of the controls for Wulong. And that scares me because I hated double tapping B to dodge. I mean, come on. Anyways, that's just a me issue. Marvel Spider-Man 2 adds a new update, so I'll quickly go over this one. I've been into it. You can now start your New Game Plus. And no, that doesn't get rid of your save file where you've 100%ed the game. It creates a brand new save file where you create your New Game Plus. You get access to, I believe, 3 more suits in the New Game Plus. You have to get up to level 60, and the new difficulty plus all the gadgets right in the beginning is a lot of fun to play with. I've just got through the Sandman aspect of it, making my way slowly through the game, because obviously I stop for 15 minutes every little bit to take a picture, because now I have a problem. But other than that, it's...
yeah.
Yeah, and now they've got all new suits. I mean, look at these funky fresh suits. They're so cool. Oh, this is not going to show up. There it is. Flying fresh suits. Look at that. Straight up 90s throwback. Like, I love these suits. They're so cool. I'm playing the whole game with this. And they got those, like, iconic, you know, that Sony Walkman. I had one of those yellow Sony Walkman growing up. Those headphones are cool.
Mine was the black Sony Walkman. I had that one. They are cool. The photo mode editions are great. Do not go into New Game Plus with the symbiote suit on. You end up looking like Poop Man. It's hilarious. But otherwise,
I didn't see that.
Great update to a great game. Yeah,
awesome.
Black suit covered in sand. It doesn't look great.
Hey, you know what? If you're not going to make a great web game, maybe just add DLC like Ghosts of Tsushima Legends. Huh? And you have great web in Spider-Man. I'm just saying. You heard it here first. Maybe that's what they're doing.
Maybe.
They're like, hey, let's not make a new game. Let's just tack this onto Spider-Man like we did Ghosts of Tsushima Legends. I just, you know, that's my new going theory. Don't get rid of it. The final season 2, if you're interested in this free-to-play first-person shooter, first details on hacking theme for season 2 is live this Thursday. It's also introducing a 5v5 game mode, hacker playstyle, and more. This is one of my biggest complaints. I feel like there was only like 2 or 3 game modes in the finals, but it's awesome to see that they are adding more game modes. And you know what? This is a first-person shooter that I feel evolves the genre. It moves it forward. The building destruction, the maneuverability, it's really something to marvel, and it looks really cool, and it's fun playing it. 100% recommend this. Free to play on every platform, so it's cool to jump in. Any thoughts on this? Have you played the finals at all?
I've not. It's not one that entices me. I love the destructibility of it. It's what we were promised with, I think, Battlefield 3 back on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era games, and never actually got. This game feels like it finally delivers on that promise, and it is the guys who basically promised that for us. It's the people from those teams who've come together to make it, so it's very high quality. It's not my sort of cup of tea of a game, this sort of competitive, permanently online shooter. I'm not a huge fan of them, but everybody who plays it, who is a fan of this sort of game, has had an absolutely fantastic time with it. And we're now getting new life breathed into it with new game modes and new ways to play. I think it can only be a good thing.
Let's go. Get into the finals this week. Check out the new Game Pass. Or Battle Pass. And get into it. Or just jump in for free. You don't have to get the Battle Pass. It's just fun with friends. That's how I play. Fortnite is getting a massive expansion. I will be checking it out on Family Game Night tonight. Subtle plug. The powers of the gods to the Battle Royale. So we see now Zeus and Hades being introduced into Fortnite. Because essentially they ran out of other popular IPs and they went to the gods. I mean, hey, I'm all for it. I know Callie Drew Voss in Cyborg City was saying that it gives him the feel of Immortals Phoenix. But hey, there's some cool powers in here. There's like a dive bomb. There's Zeus's lightning. And to me, it's bringing... This is how I feel a lot of games should be, how sports games should be, is just keep your one game and just update it with new content. Like, this game is day and night from version 1, and it's cool to see that something like this can work well, just continually updating a game. But yeah, are you going to be playing any Fortnite, Dorgon? I know you're not a Fortnite player.
The last time I played Fortnite, it was with a guy called Knockdown Rook on stream, and we won. We got the chicken dinner, which was great, but I think that was like 3, maybe 4 years ago. And then prior to that, it was season 2 with the sniper-only matches. That was the time I played before that. So I dip in now and then. It's just, again, not the type of game for me. This looks great. I don't get why they've gone with Greek gods when we've had all pop culture and everything previously. To suddenly go into mythology feels a bit like out of left field, a bit weird. But they are creating the metaverse that Mark Zuckerberg wants, better than Mark Zuckerberg is, all in Fortnite. They've got Disneyland coming soon as well. So, like, power to them. Keep doing what you're doing. It's obviously working.
Yes, and it's evident for all the listeners that Dorgon doesn't play Fortnite because it's called a Victory Royale. And a chicken dinner, I think, is PUBG.
Oh.
That's all right.
You can tell it's been a while.
Yeah. Top downloads for PS5 in the month of February. Of course, on the charts, Helldivers 2 and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think that's no shock, and they happen to be the two games I'm playing right now. Yeah. Were you surprised by seeing those two at the top of the charts?
No, nothing about these charts surprised me at all. The differences between the US and Europe didn't surprise me. The top two didn't surprise me. This is pretty much what anybody who's a little bit plugged in expected the sales charts to be. Two of the biggest game releases of the year at the top, and everybody else bringing up the rear.
Yep. We've got a bunch of news and we are running short, so I'm going to jump to this one. Unfortunately, we have some news. I'm not sure about if you heard about this one, but Deviation Games, if it wants to load in here, is announced to be shutting down before they produce their first game. It's unfortunate for them. The Los Angeles-based developer, Deviation Games, has closed down. And I believe this was backed by Sony? Where did I read that? But it was established in 2020 by Call of Duty veterans. Yeah. So, it's unfortunate to see they made an announcement saying they are looking to get the staff redistributed throughout the industry. But who knows what that means. But it's unfortunate to see. I wish we could have seen a game from this kind of investment. I don't know why stuff like this shuts down.
Money. Money is the big factor in all of these shutdowns, all of these layoffs. We've seen over the past year and 3 months, over 15,000 people lose their jobs in the gaming industry. That's not a small number. That's a vast portion of it. But there's only so much money to go around. There's only so much money that we consumers have. There's only so much spending power that we have. And that spending power is being squeezed at every turn. Games cost more to buy now. A generation ago at the start of the PlayStation 4 cycle, games were costing £40 here in the UK. They are now costing £70. In the space of 10 years,
Wow.
That is a £30 increase, near double increase in game price. And that's just the price of entry. You've then got microtransactions inside. You've then got battle passes, DLC, expansions, all of these other prices that go with it. You've got to have the hardware to go with it, all of the accessories, all of this, that, and the other. But our spending power is becoming less and less because the price of things are increasing out of sight. Atop that, we've got such market saturation that we're not able to play everything. I have not yet played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Mostly because I haven't finished Final Fantasy VII Remake. Mostly because I barely even started it. Because I don't have the time of day. I'm playing games that I want to play, but then I'm not playing games that I want to play because so many are coming out and I don't have money to buy them all. And when you've got so many companies putting out so much content, stuff is simply going to get missed. And when stuff is getting missed, or you haven't been able to launch anything, and you're 3-4 years into existence, that's 4 years without a paycheck. I don't know about you, but I couldn't go 4 years without a paycheck. I'm not sure how a company goes 4 years without any income. And this is the sort of situation we're facing. The games industry has put itself in a terrible position. When you look back at like the PlayStation 1 era of consoles, there were maybe 300, 400 games per year. What that did was give every single game a bit of breathing space. It meant that you as an individual could really plan out what you wanted to buy and play through the course of the year and what you were getting at full price and what you were getting in sales. Whereas now we're getting that sort of quantity of games a quarter. We've had 370 odd games on PlayStation already this year, and we're not even 3 months into it. So how are we as consumers meant to put money into all of these titles when we've got less spending power than we had a generation ago? And this is the situation that companies like Deviation are facing. It's the situation that companies like Insomniac are facing. Naughty Dog, we've had games cancelled from them because the monetary investment just won't come back to them. And is it a case of you need to change how you're making games? Is it a case of the industry is too big and needs to shrink? Is it a case of you need to look at pricing for these for consumers so that we can get a better price of entry? There's many questions that need to be asked, and unfortunately Deviation have been a victim before we've even seen any of their products. But as I've just said, like 4 years without a product on the market, I don't know anybody else anywhere in any industry in the world that could go 4 years without any form of income.
That's a good point. It's too bad. I hoped that we would have got to see a AAA shooter out of that one, but for PlayStation, but unfortunately not the case, and we keep moving forward. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth acclaimed card game Queen's Blood could get expanded. I don't know if you have played Queen's Blood. Well, I don't think you have played Queen's Blood, but the game is addicting, okay? It is modeled after what I can say is Marvel's Snap. 3 rows of numbers. You have to get higher in 2 of the rows. The cards play on each other. They have effects. There's able ways to claim each space that you play the card. Honestly, I go into the game and I search out each instance where I can play Queen's Blood and I go play it. It is an incredibly fun game. I wish I could see an app come from this connected to your Final Fantasy game, which would allow you to take your deck out and play against other people. They're talking here about DLC adding possibly more cards. There's currently 145 cards in the game, which to me seems overwhelming. I mean, you can only have 15 cards in a deck. But really cool to see. I love to see all this hype, and I knew it. As soon as I played one game of this, I was like, why do I like this card game so much? I never like card games. They did an incredibly good job creating that.
Completely unsurprising to me. If you make a good card game, there's been so many of this type of version, like you say, like different ways of scoring. You've got your 3 rows, your 3 columns, whatever the case may be. We've seen it in The Witcher with the Gwent card game. That's had its own spin-off. It's got a different PC and mobile release. They're free to play, and you can dive in and play those games anywhere you want. It's how things like Magic the Gathering work. It's how things like I can't remember what it was called, but the sort of dice game in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it was based on a very similar principle. I first came across this sort of design of game inside Encarta Encyclopedia on Windows 95. There was a hidden card game that you could get to, and this was incredible. You had to go through a maze to get to it, and then I introduced my mother to it and lost access to my PC for 3 weeks. She was absolutely addicted. These sort of card games work well. They're a proven factor. They're incredibly addictive to the mindset. They're incredibly good fun. You build a deck, you play a card, you prove what you're doing. And if this one is as good as you're saying, spread it out. Bring it outside of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Put it on the Google Play Store. Put it on the Apple App Store. And let everybody get their hands on this. You can release new cards in the future and have them in card packs if you want to make money off it and put it as a free release. Like, there's ways to go about this. I'm completely unsurprised by its popularity. It's Gwent 2.0. Let's go get some.
And Maker of Chaos says Thronebreaker was Gwent's single-player game. Was really good. Cool.
I'm not getting many messages pop up. I'm sorry, folks.
Cyberpunk 2077 is done, says the director, but little updates may still happen. Oh, so if you thought Cyberpunk was over on updates, you could be wrong. There is essentially, this article goes over The director talks about things that kind of seemed unachievable in the beginning, but now seem very small and easy to push through. So my predictions, based off of those words, would be possible photo mode, possible third-person perspective. These are the two elements I could see them adding to this game as little updates. Pushed through for Cyberpunk 2077. Do I think we'll get new story content? No. I think they are done with that aspect. But new updates may be coming for the popular futuristic open world RPG.
Yeah, it's sort of to be expected. This thing had like a 5-year, like, what was it, roadmap initially when it first launched, and then obviously it was a catastrophic launch. They changed everything, delivered none of that roadmap, and delivered something else, which is still excellent experience, don't get me wrong, but not what was promised. So you're gonna have the odd update. Like they say, they can do stuff now that they couldn't do previously, as you've mentioned: photo mode, third person mode, probably dual wielding. I don't know if that's a thing in the game. Loads of different things that weren't possible previously, especially with the catastrophic state that it launched in. They can probably add. They're going to be nice little quality of life things. And for people still playing it, they will be incredibly well received. But for the rest of us, it's a case of, if we get there when we've got them, great. If we don't, we're not going to miss it because we don't know we're missing them, sort of thing. So they're those sort of updates. Nothing major, but they just make the final version of the game that bit better.
Awesome. I agree, and bring photo mode in third person because those are the updates I want secretly. We have Minecraft, and this one you sent to me last minute. Now, from what I'm understanding, is that saying 8K textures on a PSVR 2 helmet?
That is saying 8K textures and mod support on a PSVR 2 headset. This is a game that's been on PC VR for a long time. I think this is update 57 that they're talking about in the article here, which is adding all of these cool features. It's a Minecraft-like VR experience. It's got great legs on PC. There's a lot of people who really enjoy this because it is that sort of Minecraft experience, as you're seeing in the trailer that Rudix is playing here. But yeah, 8K texture. You're not going to see 8K because the screens are only 4K. But what it means is when it's pushing through 8K textures is it's going to be the crispest thing you're ever going to see. You're not going to lose any fidelity when it squishes down to that one lens in front of your eye. And they have really worked hard on foveated rendering, so it's going to be super crisp, so it's not taking all of the power of your PlayStation 5 system when you're looking at something through eye tracking, because over there, where you can't see, that's in like 480p, but you can't see it because you're looking over there. So they can put some really high quality textures in this game and just push it as far as you can visually see the hardware going. I am very interested in this. I like Minecraft. I like the idea of being in Minecraft, like physically, like chopping away at things and what have you. And I just want to see the technical marvel that this could be on PlayStation VR 2. It looks amazing from the trailers and from all the update sounds. And it's coming in a couple of days, I believe, March 16th or something.
Wow, it looks actually very stunning, high performance. Pretty cool that they were able just to create Cube VR. March 16th. And it's now available on PC VR via early access. So either pick it up in a couple days or try it out on the early access. Cool to see.
Oh, we got a few latecomers to chat. Well, to be fair, this is the normal time for the Europeans that the show will start. So, hello, Purple. Hello, Wibble. Hello, Miss Phoenix. Hello, Lo-Fi.
Yo, hello, welcome. We are just wrapping up because of daylight savings. I completely forgot that that's how that works with you guys. Why do you guys do daylight savings? It's not like the sun is different over there. Like, what's the thinking behind this? This is ridiculous.
We do it every 6 months, not
there
every 2.5. So ours comes October and March every year, and it's the final weekend in October and March every year. So we know exactly when it's happening, and it gives us 6 months of summer, 6 months of winter. But yeah, we should cancel daylight savings. I'm gonna lose all my morning sun, and I
Yeah.
don't like that.
Yeah. Fortnite fans can't believe the price of new Lego buildings in PS5 and PS4 item shop. Now, I was like, okay, they can't be that ridiculous, right? They are that ridiculous. For one beachside house, 1900 V-Bucks, and this is on sale. On sale. Next one, Durr Burger. That is 2000 V-Bucks for just this like Lego Minecraft little building. I'm shocked at the price of this.
Sir, can I have a question?
Yeah.
What does that translate to in real world money?
The V-Bucks, I believe that's like either 20, 30 Canadian bucks. What is, does V-Bucks have V-Bucks to dollars? I know that this is crazy. Oh my God.
$20 for just a house that you could go in Minecraft and build yourself for free?
Yeah. 2,000 V-Bucks in USD. It's just, I feel like this is just crazy monetization. I don't get why it is like this. So it's around, you know, almost $30 Canadian for something like this. And to me, it's just wild, the DLC prices that they're able to drop. I hope this trend kind of stops. I feel like the sky's the limit with these prices on Fortnite. I hope they do something about it, because I love Lego, but geez, that's expensive. That's like the price of a real Lego set you could go out and get.
Real set of Lego. Yeah. My partner bought me a Jurassic Park Lego set for Christmas. It's the Jurassic Park Jeep, Dennis Nedry, and the Dilophosaurus. I think that was about that price. And I got hours of fun building that, and it's now in a different pose every week. It gets posed on the coffee table. Either I do it or my partner does it. It's just this little bit of fun for us. But to spend that on something virtual that, let's be honest here, if Epic ever get done with Fortnite, they will shut the servers down and you won't have access to that anymore. It's very wasted money. But the problem you face is that people will pay this. People are buying these items. They are paying for these V-Bucks. They are spending these V-Bucks on these items. And all that says to Epic and the development team is that people are happy to spend even more. So let's try it being a little bit more expensive next time. And if people buy that, it'll be the same again and again and again until you've got cosmetics in a game costing more than the game itself, which is pretty much where Ubisoft are getting to with some of their microtransactions.
Yeah. It's insane. It's insane. Well, the last story I have is a real life experience I'm going to go over. We have Kickflip, the competition with Destiny 2 brand new trick-worthy vehicle live today. So last episode, I had told everyone reading the blog that it was simple as going to Eva, doing a simple mission, and getting the board. It is not that simple. It is not that simple by a long shot. To obtain this surfboard for outside the Guardian games, you need to either do one of three things after 8 sub-objectives. So this getting a surfboard is going to take a while if you are invested in trying to obtain it. I would definitely put some time behind it and get a fire team ready. You're either going to have to grind out 3 world events and be on time for each of them. You're either going to have to grind out Guardian games for over 1,200 medals, which could be up to 3, like almost 100, 200 different little activities, or you can get the high score in a Nightfall, but you have to act early because people are getting those high scores. So if you want the surfboard, go in and get it. It is a lot of fun. Destiny 2 with some updates before the final shape.
I would highly recommend putting a Twitch stream on in the background as well. With drops enabled, you will get a diamond medallion for watching 2 hours of Destiny content on Twitch every week
of
of Guardian games. And then you only need to do 1 more diamond medallion to get the board, essentially. So just watch Twitch for 6 hours and then play a little bit of the game.
There's a good tip as well. Well, that's all we had for PlayStation this week. Dorgon, what do you got going on with you and your channel? What can people look forward to?
I'm currently in the editing process of a new video. It's bit different to one I've done before. It's very similar, as in the best of XYZ, but it's a slightly different approach to it than I've done before. So fingers crossed that one lands, and then I'm capturing footage for another video thereafter to try and celebrate 1 year of PlayStation VR 2, because it has been out for just over a year now. So that's what I'm working on. There's nothing new out at the moment. So in the meantime, watch all these beautiful people in chat, like Miss Phoenix, like Wibblesniff, like Neil J when he does go live, and of course Purple, she has a great show every week. Or of course my beautiful co-host Sir Rudigs, who has, did I hear that right earlier with that shameless plug, Family Game Night with a fortnight later?
Yes, sir. We got Family Game Night tonight on the Rudigs channel. I'm going to be getting some victory royales, so going to be enjoying that tonight in the new DLC for Fortnite.
Yeah, not the chicken dinners, the victory royales. Got that wrong earlier.
Yeah. But awesome. Look forward to that new video once it gets off of the editing press. And then here on Cloud&Console, you can tune back in on Friday in the morning. We got the download. So we'll be going over all of gaming and tech news with a panel. So be sure to check us out then. But until next week, for more Super PlayStation Bros, be kind and bring peace into the world.
Take care, folks. Bye!
All right, running credits.
Oh my gosh! Grove. Grove. Why try to believe in me? Why try, do I even need to? I die with the season leaves. I glide with the season breeze. True, my mind so easily spooked. I ride just to be the me. Oh, finds hype super decently smooth. Nice type, but as sick as me.